Surah.
والفجر
والفجر
The dawn. The break of day. The daybreak. Surah number 89. Ayat.
آية
آيات
Verses. Total. 30. Here. 1 to 10. In. With. By. Of.
بسم
The name.
بسم
In the name.
الله الله بسم الله
The name of.
الله بسم الله
In the name of.
الله الرحمن
The most gracious. The entirely merciful. The compassionate. The beneficent. All merciful.
الرحيم
The most merciful. The especially merciful. The all compassionate. Most rewarding. The dispenser of grace.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
In the name of.
الله
The most gracious. The most merciful. In the name of.
الله
The entirely merciful. The especially merciful. In the name of God. The most gracious. The dispenser of grace. In the name of.
الله
The compassionate. The merciful. In the name of.
الله
Most gracious. Most rewarding. In the name of God, the all-merciful, the all-compassionate. In the name of.
الله
The beneficent. The merciful.
والفجر
Verse number 1. By the break of day. 1. By the dawn. 1. Consider the daybreak.
وليال
By the nights. And the nights.
عشر
10.
وليال عشر
2. By the 10 nights. 2. And the 10 nights. 2. By the 10 nights, that is, the first 10 days of the month of Dhul Hijjah. 2. And the 10 nights. 2. And 10 nights. And by 10 nights. 2. By the 10 nights.
والشفع
By the even. And the even.
والوتر
And the odd, contrasted. And by the odd. And the odd.
والشفع والوتر
By the even and odd, contrasted. 3. And by the even and the odd, of all the creations of Allah. 3. Consider the multiple and the one. 3. And the even and the odd. And by the even number and the odd. 3. By the even and the odd. 3. And the even and the odd.
والليل
And by the night. And the night.
إذا
1.
يسر
It passes. It passeth away. It departs.
والليل إذا يسر
4. And by the night when it passeth away. 4. And the night when it passes. 4. And by the night when it departs. 4. Consider the night as it runs its course. 4. And the night when it passes. And by the night when it passes. 4. And by the passing night. 4. And the night when it departs.
هل
Is it
في
in
ذلك. 'That' 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 'that'
an adjuration, or evidence, an oath, not an oath.
لذي
For those men
حجر
who understand, understanding, of understanding,
لذي حجر
for those who understand. Five. Is there not in these an adjuration or evidence for those who understand? 5. Is there not in that an oath for those who understand? 5. There is indeed in them, the above oaths, sufficient proofs for men of understanding, and that they should avoid all kinds of sins and disbeliefs, etc. 5. Considering all this, could there be, to anyone endowed with reason, a more solemn evidence of the truth? 5. Is there not in all that an oath sufficient for one of perception? 5. Is there not in this strong evidence for a man of sense? 5. Truly in this is an oath for men of understanding.
ألم
Did not,
تر
seest thou, you see,
ألم تر
seest thou not, saw you not, did not you see,
كيف
how,
فعل
dealt,
ربك
your Lord,
بعاد
with,
عاد
6. Seest thou not how thy Lord dealt with the odd people? 6. Did you not see how your Lord dealt with odd? 6. Did you, O Muhammad, peace be upon him, not see, thought, how your Lord dealt with odd people? 6. Art thou not aware of how thy sustainer has dealt with the tribe of Ad? 6. Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with Ad? 6. Have you not heard of how your Lord dealt with the tribe of Ad? 6. Hast thou not considered how thy Lord dealt with Ad?
إرم
Iram,
ذات
with, of, pillars. 7. Of the city of Iram, with lofty pillars. 7. Iram, possessors of lofty pillars. 7. Who were very tall like lofty pillars. 7. The people of Iram the many-pillared. 7. With Iram who had lofty pillars. 7. The people of Iram, the city of many pillars. 7. Of Iram, having lofty buildings.
التي
Which
لم
not
يخلق
were produced, were created,
مثلها
like them,
التي لم يخلق مثلها
the like of which were not produced, the like of which were not created,
في
in
البلاد
all the land, the land. 8. The like of which were not produced in all the land. 8. The likes of which had not been created in other cities. 8. The like of which were not created in the land. 8. The like of whom has never been reared in all the land. 8. The likes of whom had never been created in the land. 8. The like of which has never been created in the land. 8. The like of which were not created in the land.
وثمود
And
ثمود الذين
who
جابوا
carved out, hewed out,
الصخر
rocks, the rocks,
بالواد
in the valley. 9. And with the famed people who cut out huge rocks in the valley. 9. and famed, who carved out rocks in the valley. 9. And with famed people, who cut, hewed out rocks in the valley to make dwellings. 9. And with the tribe of famed, who hollowed out rocks in the valley. 9. And with famed, who carved out the rocks in the valley. 9. And with the famed, who cut out huge rocks in the valley. 9. And with famed, who hewed out rocks in the valley.
وفرعون
And with Pharaoh, with
الأوتاد
the stakes, owner of stakes, with stakes. 10. And with Pharaoh, lord of stakes. 10. And Pharaoh, owner of stakes. 10. And with Pharaoh, who had pegs, who used to torture men by binding them to pegs. 10. And with Pharaoh of the manet and poles. 10. And with Pharaoh, owner of the stakes. 10. And with Pharaoh of the stakes. 10. And Pharaoh, the Lord of hosts. Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Surah,
والفجر
the dawn, the break of day, the daybreak. Surah number 89. Ayat.
آيات
Verses. Total. 30. Here. 11 to 16.
الذين
Who
طغوا
transgressed beyond bounds
في
in
البلاد
the lands. 11. All these transgressed beyond bounds in the lands. 11. Who transgressed in the lands. 11. Who did transgress beyond bounds in the lands, in the disobedience of Allah. 11. It was they who transgressed all bounds of equity all over their lands. 11. All of whom oppressed within the lands. 11. All of them committed excesses in their lands. 11. Who exceeded limits in the cities.
فأكثروا
And much. And made much.
فيها
therein, corruption, mischief. 12. And heaped therein mischief on mischief. 12. And made therein much corruption. 12. And made therein much mischief. 12. And brought about great corruption therein. 12. And increased therein the corruption. 12. And caused much corruption in them. 12. And made great mischief therein.
فصب
So poured
عليهم
on them
ربك
your Lord,
سوط
scourge, lash, whip,
عذاب
torment, punishment, chastisements, suffering, of torment, of punishment. 13. Therefore did thy Lord pour on them a scourge of diverse chastisements. 13. So your Lord poured on them a scourge of punishment. 13. So your Lord poured on them different kinds of severe torment. 13. And therefore thy Sustainer let loose upon them a scourge of suffering. 13. So your Lord poured upon them a scourge of punishment. 13. So your Lord unleashed on them the scourge of punishment. 13. So thy Lord poured on them a portion of chastisement.
إن
Indeed, verily,
ربك
your Lord,
لبالمرصاد
surely ever watchful, is surely ever watchful.
Is surely ever watchful.
Indeed, your Lord is ever watchful. 14. Verily, your Lord is ever watchful over them. 14. 4. Verily, thy Sustainer is ever on the watch. 14. Indeed, your Lord is in observation. 14. 4. Indeed, your Sustainer is ever on the watch. 14. Surely thy Lord is watchful.
فأما
And as for
الإنسان
man,
إذا ما
one
ابتلاه
tries him,
ربه
his Lord,
فأكرمه
and is generous to him,
ونعمه
and favors him,
فيقول
he says,
ربي
my Lord
أكرمن
has honored me. Now, as for man, when his Lord tried him, giving him honor and gifts, then saith he, puffed up, my Lord hath honored me. 15. And as for man, when his Lord tries him, and is generous to him, and favors him, he says, my Lord has honored me. 15. As for man, when his Lord tries him by giving him honor and gifts, then he says, puffed up, my Lord has honored me. 15. But as for man, whenever his Sustainer tries him by his generosity, and by letting him enjoy a life of ease, he says, my Sustainer has been justly generous towards me. 15. And as for man, when his Lord tries him, and thus is generous to him, and favors him, he says, my Lord has honored me. 15. As for man, when his Lord tests him, through honor and blessings, he says, my Lord has honored me. But
إذا ما
when
ابتلاه
he tries him,
فقدر
and restricts
عليه
for him
رزقه
his provision.
فيقول
Then he says,
ربي
My Lord
أهانن
humiliated me, has humiliated me, disgraced me, has disgraced me. But when he tried him, restricting his subsistence for him, then saith he in despair, My Lord hath humiliated me. 16. But when he tries him, and restricts his provision, then he says, My Lord has humiliated me. 16. But when he tries him, by straightening his means of life, he says, My Lord has humiliated me. 16. Whereas, whenever he tries him by straightening his means of livelihood, he says, My sustainer has disgraced me. 16. But when he tries him, and restricts his provision, he says, My Lord has humiliated me. 16. But when he tests him by straightening his means of livelihood, he says, My Lord has disgraced me. 16. But when he tries him, then straightens to him his subsistence, he says, My Lord has disgraced me. Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah, until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Surah,
والفجر
the dawn, the break of day, the daybreak. Surah number 89. Ayat,
آية
verses, total, 30. Here, 17 to 23.
كلا
Nay,
بل
but,
لا
not,
تكرمون
you honor,
اليتيم
the orphan.
The orphan.
Seventeen. Nay, but ye honor not the orphans. 17. Nay, but you do not honor the orphan. 17. Nay, but you treat not the orphans with kindness and generosity, that is, you neither treat them well, nor give them their exact right of inheritance. 17. But nay, O men, consider all that you do, and fail to do you are not generous towards the orphan. 17. No. But you do not honor the orphan. 17. No indeed, but you show no kindness to the orphan. 17. Nay, but you honor not the orphan.
ولا
And not. You feel the urge. You urge one another.
You urge one another.
على
On.
2.
طعام
Feed.
Feed.
المسكين
The poor. Miskin. The poor. 18. Nor do ye encourage one another to feed the poor. 18. And you do not feel the urge to feed the poor. 18. And urge not on the feeding of al-miskin, the poor. 18. And you do not urge one another to feed the needy. 18. And you do not encourage one another to feed the poor. 18. Nor do you urge one another to feed the poor.
And urge not on the feeding of al-miskin, the poor.
وتأكلون
And you consume
التراث
the inheritance,
أكلا
devouring,
لما
greed, with greed, devouring altogether. And ye devour inheritance, all with greed. 19. And you consume the inheritance, devouring it, altogether. 19. And you devour inheritance all with greed. 19. And you devour the inheritance of others with devouring greed. 19. And you consume inheritance, devouring it altogether. 19. And you greedily devour the inheritance of the weak. 19. And you devour heritage, devouring all.
وتحبون
And you love
المال
Wealth.
حبا
with love
With love.
جما
much.
Immense.
20. And ye love wealth with inordinate love. 20. And you love wealth with immense love. 20. And you love wealth with much love. 20. And you love wealth with boundless love. 20. And you love wealth with immense love. 20. And you have a love of wealth which can never be satisfied. 20. And you love wealth with exceeding love.
كلا
Nay,
إذا
when
دكت
is leveled,
الأرض
the earth,
دكا دكا
pounded and crushed,
Pounded and crushed.
with exceeding grind. 21. Nay, when the earth is pounded to powder. 21. Nay, when the earth is leveled, pounded and crushed. 21. Nay, when the earth is ground to powder. 21. Nay, but how will you fare on Judgment Day, when the earth is crushed with crushing upon crushing? 21. No, when the earth has been leveled, pounded and crushed. 21. No indeed, when the earth is crushed and ground to dust. 21. Nay, when the earth is made to crumble to pieces.
وجاء
and comes,
ربك
your Lord,
والملك
and the angels. Rank. In rows. And thy Lord cometh, and his angels, rank upon rank. 22. And your Lord comes, and the angels, rank upon rank. 22. And your Lord comes with the angels in rows. 22. And the majesty of thy sustainer stands revealed, as well as the true nature of the angels, rank upon rank. 22. And your Lord has come, and the angels, rank upon rank. 22. When your Lord comes down with the angels, rank upon rank. 22. And thy Lord comes with the angels, ranks on ranks.
وجيء
And is brought, and will be brought near. That day.
بجهنم
Hell. 23. And hell, that day, is brought face to face. 23. And hell is brought into view, that day. 23. And hell will be brought near that day. 23. And on that day hell will be brought within sight. 23. And brought within view, that day, is hell. 23. And hell is made to appear on that day. 23. And hell is made to appear that day.
يومئذ
That day.
يتذكر
Will remember.
الإنسان
Man.
وأنى
But how?
له
For him. Will be. For him. Will avail him.
الذكرى
The remember. On that day will men remember, but how will that remembrance profit him? That day man will remember, but how will the remembrance profit him? On that day will men remember, but how will that remembrance then avail him? On that day man will remember all that he did and failed to do, but what will that remembrance avail him? That day man will remember, but how that is, what good to him will be the remembrance? Then man will be mindful, but what will being mindful then avail him? On that day man will be mindful, and of what use will being mindful be then? Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah, until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Surah,
والفجر
والفجر
the dawn, the break of day, the daybreak. Surah number 89. Ayat,
آية
آيات
verses, total, 30. Here, 24 to 30.
يقول
He will say,
يا ليتني
"Oh, I wish. Would that
قدمت
I had sent forth
لحياتي
for my life." 24. He will say, "Ah, would that I had sent forth good deeds for this my future life." 24. He will say, "Oh, I wish I had sent forth some good for my life of the hereafter." 24. He will say, "Alas, would that I had sent forth good deeds for this my life." 24. He will say, "Oh, would that I had provided beforehand for my life to come." 24. He will say, "Oh, I wish I had sent ahead some good for my life." 24. He will say, "Oh, would that I had provided beforehand for my life." 24. He will say, "Oh, would that I had sent before for this my life."
فيومئذ
So that day,
لا
not
يعذب
will punish,
عذابه
like his punishment, as his punishment,
أحد
anyone. 25. For that day, his chastisement will be such as none else can inflict. 25. So that day none will punish as severely as he will punish. 25. So on that day, none will punish as he will punish. 25. For none can make suffer as he will make suffer the sinners on that day. 25. So on that day, none will punish as severely as his punishment. 25. On that day no one will punish as he punishes. 25. But none can punish as he will punish on that day.
ولا
And none
يوثق
will bind
وثاقه
his binding as his binding, like his binding,
أحد
anyone. 26. And his bonds will be such as none other can bind. 26. And none will bind as severely as he will bind. 26. And none will bind as he will bind. 26. And none can bind with bonds like his. 26. And none will bind as severely as his binding of the evildoers. 26. And none can bind with bonds like his. 26. And none can bind as he will bind on that day. Oh, pew,
النفس
the soul. O soul,
المطمئنة
in satisfaction. Who is satisfied? 27. To the righteous soul will be said, O thou soul, in complete rest and satisfaction.
27. To the righteous soul will be said, O thou soul, in complete rest and satisfaction.
27. It will be said to the righteous soul, O satisfied soul. 27. It will be said to the pious, O you, the one in complete rest and satisfaction. 27. But unto the righteous God will say, O thou human being that hast attained to inner peace. 27. To the righteous it will be said, O reassured soul.
27. But to the righteous, God will say, O soul at peace.
27. O soul that art at rest.
ارجعي
Return. Come back.
إلى
To.
ربك
Your Lord.
راضية
Well pleased. Well pleased yourself.
مرضية
And pleasing. And well pleasing unto him. 28. Come back thou to thy Lord, well pleased thyself, and well pleasing unto him. 28. Return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing him. 28. Come back to your Lord, well pleased yourself, and well pleasing unto him. 28. Return now unto thy sustainer, well pleased and pleasing him. 28. Return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing to him. 28. Return to your Lord, well pleased, well pleasing. 28. Return to thy Lord, well pleased, well pleasing.
فادخلي
So enter. Enter you then.
في
Among
عبادي
my slaves.
فادخلي في عبادي
29. Enter now, then, among my devotees. 29. So enter among my righteous slaves. 29. Enter you, then, among my honored slaves. 29. Enter, then, together with my other true servants. 29. And enter among my righteous servants. 29. Join my servants. 29. So enter among my servants.
وادخلي
And enter you. My paradise. 30. Yea, enter thou my heaven. 30. And enter my paradise. 30. And enter you my paradise. 30. Yea, enter thou my paradise. 30. And enter my paradise. 30. And enter my garden. Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
Please keep listening repeatedly from start to end of this surah until you understand the full meaning of the following same verses.
ادخلي جنتي